with Jenny and Jenny. This is the Noonas podcast with Jenny and Jenny.
Dull. Set. Heart
Heart
to heart.
Noonas podcast.
Noonas podcast, Vida. We are back with the Noonas podcast.
We're not
We
dead
are
yet.
back. No, we are not dead yet. Even though we took a week off, but I think we needed a week after that Wolf performance from last week.
Yeah, we're gonna have a lot to unpack with like what we're saying right now.
There's the who. Yeah, no, we're getting into that later in the episode. Way later in the episode. Believe me, buckle in for that. I also forgot how cringy that song is too, but
Oh my god!
anyway.
Oh my god! Like the original was like really campy as hell, and I'm really glad that like they really like the team that we're gonna be speaking of, really up the scales of the performance.
Oh yeah. Yeah, thank you, 2021. But we'll get into that later in the episode. This is later in the episode, but like I said, we are back with the Noonas podcast. It is your host, Jenny, as always, with my co-host, Jenny.
I live.
We are both alive for yet another week of K-pop suffering, I guess.
Yeah, oh my god, like the blockbuster is upon us. We're gonna there's gonna be a lot for us to like be talking about and discovering throughout these coming weeks. I guarantee it.
I don't know how we're going to survive these next couple weeks. It's going to be, our lives or our sanities are going to be gone before the end of May, early June.
I'm just super lazy. I'm just gonna I need to finish down listening to these albums. At least with BTS, there's gonna be a song from them, but with the rest of the groups, I just I'm gonna listen to their album. I don't know if I have time. Oops. I don't know if I should. I don't know if I want to expose myself like that, but
Yeah. Let's not know.
Lazy critic. Critic Jenny Liano.
I swear, we're not lazy critics. We're trying not to be, but sometimes we're just
here. Try my best here.
Professional. Sure, I guess we're professional. Sure, we're gonna go with that.
Professionals, cracking memes and all those jokes on Twitter.
Totally professional, as you know. I completely lose my sanity ATs on the daily. Totally professional. But we have some catch up to do from last week, since obviously we missed last week. So we're gonna go back a little bit and catch up with NCT Dream's first full album.
Back time.
Yes, we're going back in time. So NCT Dream's first full album, as well as Oneus's third mini album to catch up on with reviews, as well as some new reviews from this week. Also, we have a lot of SM artists this week. Like SM just decided to unleash everybody.
SM Kingdom or SM's Kingdom for the matter. You heard it here.
Mm-hmm. Well, we did have an EXO cover to talk about this episode too, and that's pretty impactful. So
exactly,
it might be. So, but we do have also new music from aespa as well as Taemin this week to talk about, as well as some surprising news coming about a group disbanding that caught, I think, everybody off guard this week. I know it caught me off guard.
Yeah, because people are either talking about their contracts are expiring, but none of them we're talking about this. Mm-hmm. People are expecting we got stuff, but they're probably gonna disband or leaving JYP, but with this none of us even thought about what is that? Oh shoot.
Yeah, so we'll get into the whole G-Friend disbanding breaking news from earlier this week. A little bit later, as well as
news that I had to squeeze in for the slideshows. Yeah, I just put breaking news, and I put a new Noonas podcast breaking news bar. If you if you saw my pictures, I think you'll get what I mean. Like, I put it
yeah, if you watch her video form on Facebook, which you should check out, all the hard work Jenny does when she does our photos for our show. Yeah, of the breaking news for that, because it was literally breaking news this week in the K-pop world. And then covering the first half of round 3 of Kingdom this week, because we got through the first half, which was the head-to-head competitions between the teams kind of splitting off into groups of 3 teams and 3 teams, and then all collabing together, and then having a head-to-head vocal performance, head-to-head rap performance, head-to-head dance performance. So we're going to break down those performances and reveal who won all those performances, because basically it was a winner-take-all situation for those. There were no fans involved with this one. It was all in studio. So it's going to kind of shake things up a little bit, I think, in terms of the competition. So we should get started, because we got a long show today, I think, to catch up on. So let's get started with, I guess, the big album from last week with NCT Dream, and one we've been looking forward to for a while. I know we both been looking forward to this one, with NCT Dream, with their first actual full album, their first LP, with Hot Sauce, and their title track Hot Sauce, and really coming out with something super, I mean, okay, for lack of a better term, coming out with something super spicy and something super addictive, but super hot.
Just to show how they've grown throughout the 5 years. 5 years.
5 years now, yes.
From debut era. Because I feel like you just see them back in their when they started debuting as NCT Dream, and they look like kids, actual kids, and they have these really childlike aura around them with chewing gum. And then they just see the jump to 5 years and see how much they mature with their sounds too. It's holy shit, oh man.
Yeah, it's amazing. They're all grown up. The growth is amazing. They've done, obviously, in the 5 years since 2016, obviously their debut with Chewing Gum, and even in their sound and because Chewing Gum is such a bubblegum, for lack of a term, is a bubblegum pop song. And then you get something now like Hot Sauce is super spicy, addictive,
dangerous too, because if you read the lyrics, whoa, well, it could be in another way. It's dang, NCT Dream.
Yeah, it can be read in multiple ways. But there's also just the layering, the different beats to it, because it's it kind of has this nice bit of a more hip hoppier sound.
More hip hop and more of Latin pop and a bit of reggaeton into the instrumentals with their production. Which is something I've I guess didn't hear that much from NCT Dream. And a lot of artists or the ones that we'll be talking about, they're trying a new different approach with their music, because we've we've always associated them with the kind of this really cute really youthful style. But with this, I never heard this side of NCT Dream doing more hot Latin pop flavor into their title track. So which is a really good change for them too.
Yeah, and I think, and it gave them a chance, I think, because I think there was really good balance between all 7 members, really good balance between the rap, between the vocals, just everything just seemed to balance out super, super well. Yeah, and gave everyone a moment to shine in the song.
Exactly. That's when I first saw this for the first time when I'm seeing Hot Sauce. It's dang, everyone's getting equal amounts of shine in there. In contrast to, I guess, 127 or even Wavy for the matter, NCT Dream had equal amounts of distributions and length of time for each member. It's wow, this is impressive. Yeah. And I just really wish more groups or a lot of groups don't get that kind of unfair amount of or unbalanced time for them to do their raps or performance or singing. Maybe we should take notes. So NCT Dream is a really great song for in terms of distributions. Everyone gets their fair share.
Yeah, because I mean, it's a tricky thing because sometimes, like, depending on how the song's broken down and, like, making sure it fits, obviously, with their vocal ranges and, like, their styles and, you know, especially even for the rappers, too, making sure it works with their styles, like, you know, trying to make sure that it balances out. But it really does. And I think it just makes, like, for example, makes Hot Sauce just work super well because I think it just kind of gives it that style and that swagger because, like, I think just, like, with Mark's raps coming in and then
Right.
even, like, General's raps coming in, too, like, super, super hot and spicy, and then, like, just, like, the vocal line coming through, just having some really great vocals just, you know, shine throughout, just kind of to break it up and kind of, you know, play with that Latin pop a little bit, really brighten the track up, and it's just a really fun summer song, I think, and just, yeah,
Exactly.
it's a different style from Dream that we haven't seen before, but it's such a mature take for them, and it's really, really cool to see them kind of take this mature step forward in their music.
Yeah, mature take, and also, but still, you can still hear like the youthful spirit from like what defines NCT Dream is, like, you know, like the younger members of NCT in general, and you know, I still like they have like that elements, or like either visual elements and even like the music elements for them, like, you know, like they're the youthful, they're the more upbeat side of NCT. And it kind of, like, you know, did that with like them promoting like the hot sauce brand, which which when are they gonna like start like selling those in, you know, Korea or maybe out of seas? I don't know yet, because they like carrying like a hot sauce. They even like did it for the music show. Like, where are they getting their hot sauce?
Yeah, could ask them, could you guys like sell the hot sauce? Like, I'm sure on Citizens, I'm sure Dreamies would love to have that hot sauce.
Oh yeah,
I'm sure they'd love
definitely.
to.
I'm gonna try it.
Especially
Yeah, I'm a spicy. I love spicy food, so that you know, I would want to, you know, try like that new brand from them.
I'm not gonna lie. I do like. I like spicy too. I'm a fan of spicy food compared to my boyfriend. My boyfriend actually is very much a anti hot sauce kind of person, surprisingly. But I know, so I'd be the one in the relationship eating the hot sauce. But I'm like, I'm like, I kind of want to try this. Like, because especially with how the music video kind of plays off a little bit like an advertising a little bit. I'm like, I kind of want this hot sauce a little bit.
Even like their mascot too at the end of the video was like, there's a really cute like mascot design of like the hot sauce. So yeah, see, like kind of kept like the youthful element of you know, NCT Dream. Yeah,
they really kind of exude this youthful energy, and like I'm happy they've kept that, but as well as kind of just taking a really taking that step forward to something more mature. So you even see that in the later tracks into the album, like you go into something a little bit, you know, later into this album, like something like a little bit All Night Long, which I think is a little bit more of a sexier song of theirs, which I was not expecting them to kind of go something a little more sexier, but
hey girl.
they're taking that, and again, they're taking these steps forward, you know, in their career, in their vocal careers, because, you know, they're getting to that point where you get maturing, and so your music tastes are growing and your styles are growing, and like it's just cool to see that natural progression kind of go forward from like, again, seeing like where we've seen it even from like things from like, you know, Boom and Ride and like in the last couple of years, which are a little bit more, you know, in your face, but then these are kind of feel like a little more reeled in, and like just are just more mature and just they just feel right.
It's a good balance. It's a good balance. Yeah, I see what you mean with like their previous songs and eras. You know, when Mark was away from the group. Yeah, it felt like really like I don't know if it felt like abrupt, but they could like tell like, oh, like, you know, they're growing up, like they're, you know, gonna like do some more of like the really mature themes into it. But I think with this, it kind of like goes back into and have like the right balance with like keeping the youthful element, as well as, you know, saying that, you know, they're growing up, and just to see like how much they've evolved from like chewing gum into this. It's just like it's a right like a more faithful progression, I believe.
It's a right move. Yeah, bring Mark back into Dream after he had quote unquote graduated out of Dream, because originally Dream was supposed to be because originally Dream was supposed to be once you hit 20, you're going to be out of the group, and like it was going to be just always for the younger members and like just always kind of changing and growing. But they had hit it so well with just these 7 members just having such a unique
relationship
and combination. Yeah, that and just unique success too, like together for the youth, because like they really resonated with the youth of Korea, I think. And that kind of connection, I think, is kind of why I think they brought back Mark into the fold, and why we're continuing NCT Dream as the original 7 members. And I'm really happy that they are continuing as OT7 Dream, and that they're going to keep this as a locked group.
Made them like a permanent group, like NCT Dream. I think like there's no going to be no rotations and all that. You know, like that really confusing. I guess like like formation, what really,
like NCTU
what be doing, right? And even like even though I kind of feel bad for Mark, since he's like been in a lot of like, you know, being involved with a lot of groups, like with 127, now Dream, even Super M. I love like seeing like it's like it's not more than a duality, it's like a multi-wality of like seeing him like in different types of concepts, like, you know, with 127 it's very like sexy and very like hard edged, while you know, with Dream, he feels like more like a kid, you know, even though he's like the oldest member. It feels like, you know, really great to see his like, you know, being able to delve into like a lot of these themes and still being able to fit in. So you know, I'm really glad that, you know, Mark's, you know, with them, you know, permanently.
Yeah, me too. I'm happy he kind of gets to stay as like the oldest member of Dream and kind of help you know, be that kind of guiding light. I mean, besides the fact that
he's like the older brother. He's like the cool older brother of like of Dream.
Of Dream, well, even though he's like in everything else in NCT and SM currently, but
yeah, he's like kind of like almost a mascot, which I feel bad because like putting him into a lot of like groups, and I kind of felt worried if they're gonna continue with the NCT Hollywood thing, and Johnny's like, damn it, not another group. But
I know.
Yeah, but speaking of like Mark being back in with Dream, I got so hyped like when I saw the next day they're doing their live shows and they're performing Boom and Riding with him. It's like, yes.
Ooh.
You didn't know?
No, I didn't know.
Oh my gosh! Oh my god! I thought we were gonna talk about it for a bit, but like they're doing their live shows and they're doing like Boom with, because like Boom and Riding were like the areas where Mark wasn't involved with them, and but they made it like you know, fit when like I think those songs, I think always had like the open spot if Mark was ever back in there, they had like a place for him to like do like those parts in like the song, and it was amazing. Even though he did like a minimal amount of like rapping and singing in like those 2 songs, it still, you know, fits with the performance and how they're like work like dancing together. Is like, oh my gosh, like that would have been so great. Yeah, it's like it feels so complete, you know. It feels really compleit to see that.
I'm going to have to search out these stages once we're done recording.
I will send you after on Messenger. But yet I was like it's like I don't cry, I don't get emotional with this, but I was like inside I was like, oh my god, this is amazing. It's like OT7 doing a Boom and Riding. I was like,
because it feels right again. It just feels right having them together. It's just 7. It just feels so right. As I've been watching crackhead content of Dream currently, because of all 7 of them like yelling at one another, trying to play volleyball, because NCT Dream in a nutshell.
They're like one of the biggest brats in NCT, and they're just like so rowdy with each other.
I mostly blame Hey-chan for that.
Hey-chan.
He's the biggest brat of all.
I know.
He knows he can get away with it because he's like the second oldest member of the group too, so I know he can get away with it.
Even 127, he's like the spoiled child of 127. Either like the older members are either afraid of him, or they get so exasperated, like, you know, dealing with them. It's like, oh god, this boy,
this man again. I know. Hey-chan's a force to be reckoned with. But I was going to ask you if you had any other tracks you really liked off of Hot Sauce, because I think Hot Sauce in itself is a really complete album, front to back.
Yeah,
about 35 minutes of it.
Yeah, even Tabby, my little sister, like because she's like really hard to please when it comes to like listening to like songs and album.
Mhm.
I think this is her favorite like album this year, and she can't
Wow.
stop like listening to like the whole song. I don't think there's like any of her least favorites. And she kept on like listening it throughout these 2 weeks. But for favorite songs, I think the first thing that comes to mind when I was like listening to it the whole thing was
Mhm.
countdown down 3 2 1 because I think I'm like you, like I'm really into like this really hype like hip hop tracks, and it
Mhm.
feels like the sound really feels reminiscent to like 2000s boy band pop music because it has like the really like these it's really like simple beats, but it kind of felt like it's kind of feel like making you pumped up into
Yeah.
something. But yeah,
Yeah.
especially like the last chorus, or not the last chorus, but the last verse with the rap line, that was amazing. Like with
Mhm.
Jeno, with the in comes Mark, and then like Jeno finishing the whole portion is like that's a cherry on top.
Yeah,
Tick, tick, tick,
that
movement,
countdown
three,
three two
two,
one
one.
is yeah, countdown 3 2 1 is honestly one of my favorite tracks on this album outside of Hot Sauce. For B-side, it's such a hype
Yeah.
track. Like it's on my current rotation because it's so good.
Yeah, and then the second thing was since like I said, not a fan of like those really the last slow songs, but
Hmm.
neither for you. I was really into like the harmonization into it.
Hmm.
I believe it's from the vocal lines only from that track, but I love like the beautiful harmonization and the melody that brings into it. It kind of feels like it's like a really chill thing for you to listen or during the summer. It's like it helps you relax and helps you like just like set you off and just bring you to like uh very relaxed moment in in life, try to get away from
Hmm.
like the hectic of stuff. I think that's like a good song for me to listen to, and it feels really old school too with like the soft pop ballad as well, and how like they all sang together. It feels like something I would like listen from like the retro or like from old music from the 80s and 90s. It feels
Yeah,
like. Yeah, and
I
that yeah.
appreciate I also appreciate the fact too that like there's like almost like no electronic production. It's just straight like just smooth piano and guitar for the
Piano and
backing.
guitar, yes,
It's
yes.
just it's so beautiful, and it just really does give them a chance for like the vocal line to let their voices just kind of get showcased
Oh
and just
yeah,
their
most
talents.
definitely. I like that choice too. It's like it feels really natural and feels very genuine and like heartfelt and personal.
Hmm.
And dive into you because I really like it's kind of has like the really psychedelic feel,
Hmm.
and has like a bit of like the 90s alt rock with the guitars as well. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's my other like favorite song too.
No, I actually had all three of those on my list, as well as I had to put on there ANL on also
Oh yeah.
all night long, because I like it's a bit more their sexier song
Hmm.
for them. I felt like it just kind of had a bit of like more sexier jam quality
Hmm.
to it. Kind of again feeding into that more like mature sound that they're kind of gravitating towards now. Now that Mark's officially back as part of OT7
Right.
NCT Dream. So because again, this is like the first album Mark's been back on in 2 years. I feel
I
like since
know.
he
Yeah, it
graduated
is
out.
2 years.
But again, it's also another one of those tracks where the vocal lines I think gets a really good opportunity to showcase the really smooth vocals on, and
Hmm.
it's just a really good track to kind of showcase that. And I'm not gonna lie, I think Dream's kind of coming after Wavy a little bit for my favorite NCT subunits. Like they're kind
Oh
of coming
yeah.
for them.
Yeah,
So with
oh
this
yeah,
one,
I think so. Yeah, I think I'm starting to get into Dream and like seeing listening to their other older albums
hmm
too. So yeah.
yeah. So it's like you guys are like it's like Wavy, and then like Dream's just right behind them right now. So I like 127, but like 127 is
It
a
feels
very very distinct sound to
distinct.
them.
Yeah, people get either like would be turned on by like the music or like very like, oh, it's like not
Yeah.
really my style. That kind of like energy.
Pretty much, and that's what I find with a lot of my K-pop friends is that like either like NCT 127 or you don't like NCT 127. There's no in between with that at all. It's
I'm balanced. Like I like some of their tracks, and then some of the stuff like I feel weirded out by it. So I don't know what the
so most of my friends I have a very interesting because I have some friends who really love NCT 127. I have some friends who can't stand them, so it's very
heck.
interesting. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, no, I think they did such a great. Yeah, this is one of my I think one of my strongest albums of the year
Oh
currently.
yeah. I need to write that down because I have already like putting my
I know. I've seen your list of like you
stuff.
keeping track of like
I
top
know.
albums of 2021 currently.
Good. Yeah. Thank you. Hang
I know.
on. But NCT Dream, Hot Sauce. There we
But
go.
yeah,
So
I
I
know.
won't forget. So I won't forget if it's like talked about like the end of the year favorite, albums or songs.
Yeah, that's we don't like forget anything at the end of that. Because like I know I feel like because last year we were kind of rushing with our end of the year stuff, and I know I
I
think I
know.
forgot stuff from last year. So this year I'm hoping we
We
don't.
started during like the middle or like almost at the end of the year.
Yeah.
Though, right? So yeah.
We started in September of last year, so forgive us. We were still pretty fresh at that point. So
Yeah.
hopefully having almost a year under our belts at that point, we might be better at our year-end lists end of
we're
this
more
year.
prepared. We're more prepared for the stuff that's about to come. Yeah.
We'll go with that. So, but let's get into our next album of the week. Our next EP with Oneus with their third mini album. No, third or fifth. I lost track. But basically their next mini, which is Binary Code, which is their follow-up to their first full album, which we reviewed earlier this year, which was Devil, which I
Where we
know
have
both of
like
us had
that was
feelings
like
on
one of
that.
my fond memories of like because I remember this is the one where we kind of like went off about like their album, but yeah, just like let's see what they what they'll pull up this time and see if we have
Yeah,
like different opinions.
I won't lie. I do go back to listen to No Diggity as much as I still think they are carving off like Stray Kids and ATEEZ off that song. If you listen to that just by itself, it's not bad, but yeah, in context of the album, it's not good. Because that whole album I still think is a hot mess of like them just throwing anything to the wall and seeing what's stuck. But
also, we got a Superior Diggity. Sorry, not to compare. I got that diggity. Sorry,
going back. There's a track on Hot Sauce called Diggity. So anyway, we're going to Binary Code. And that title track on this album called Black Mirror, and I really was not expecting like them to come out with something super funky. Everything I've seen with
like
Oneus.
The whole thing, I think, because I wasn't like catching up or like following them that much, but I think they were like planning like they plan like doing like a Michael Jackson-esque like a love letter concept of Michael Jackson. So it obviously shows them with with the music, and it's like that compared to like the really like chaotic sound of Diggity, this feels like really pulled back, and it feels at least cohesive with the arrangements.
Yeah, at least like I think the fact like thankfully this is only 5. Well, I'd say it's 5 songs, but it's 4 songs because one technically is a rearrangement of their debut title, their debut song Valkyrie, because they just basically did their debut song Valkyrie in a rock version. So we have 4 new songs on this album, including the title track. But yeah, I mean, the song itself and even the music video itself is basically like a love letter to Michael Jackson. It's very much in that style. Like you see the styling in the music video, the suits and the dance style.
Even the production, like the music, the design production of like the music videos, it feels like reminiscent to some of the past Michael Jackson music videos that I used to like watch and listen to. Like the first thing that comes to mind was not just like the black background with like with Jackson performing on stage, but also like during like the really white background kind of reminds me of Scream, the one with Michael Jackson and Janet Jackson, because it has a really like also like a really sleek white background, and kind of like I don't know if that was intentional for them to do that, but it kind of has catches on with that visual thing with them. It's like kind of reminds me of like this video from Michael Jackson's like So I was like it's really effective in having this being a tribute to Michael Jackson, and it it really shows.
Yeah, it really does. Like, and like I said, the song itself, Black Mirror, has a lot of kind of funk vibes throughout the song. I think it's more of a cohesive single for them than No Diggity was, honestly. It just feels more put together for them as a group than, like I said, No Diggity, because
Mhm.
No Diggity, I felt like just like, again, they were kind of curbing on like anything that like fourth gen is like doing right now, and they're like,
Yeah. Yeah.
put it all in a blender and let's see what we get. This, at least, like I feel like they put some thought into it and put some, you know, work into it and actually made something a little bit more cohesive and put together. And it works because I kind of feel like there's like a bit of a story kind of through this album, because they're kind of playing with this, like, you know, idea of like, because again, binary code.
Yes.
You know,
Yes. Yeah.
the ones and zeros
Like
throughout.
Black Mirror reflections, like the themes of like reflections and like having like different like sides of a person too, which I caught that in the later tracks too, with Connect With Us, which having like this like more similar bond, like synchronicity of like a person. And then when you get to Polarity, which is like the opposite, like having like the contrasting elements into it, it was like, wow, they really thought out about their concept too. It was like, that's amazing.
Yeah, like it kind of goes back to like something more like Lived was, that actually felt like more thought out, more like story like, where like the tracks kind of more flowed in together, and like they actually kind of told a story, and they all kind of like all connected. So like it kind of felt more harken back to that. So like they're at least like they're putting thought into it. So like kind of makes you think like what happened when they were doing their first full album that they didn't do that on the first full album, because I would have liked to see that in a longer form then.
This the Black Mirror concept, or like the binary code concept, could have been something that could like establish as like their full album, and because they had like, you know, it feels more organized, and it felt like there's like a narrative with it. So and also like a full scale album could, you know, fit with like, you know, like a cinematic plot into it. So that's just my opinion. Like they could have probably used that as like their first album. So
and considering how cinematic to Lived was, in terms of the singles that came from that, from To Be and Not To Be and Come Back Home, which Come Back Home was actually their Kingdom finale song when they were on Road to Kingdom. And then their single was To Be or Not To Be, and that's very, very theatrical in itself if you look at the music video. Very Shakespearean. So again, they have had these like more theatrical concepts. So it's just, again, kind of very interesting what happened, where that Stumbling Block is with that first full album. So it's nice to see them kind of coming back around and kind of bringing it back in with more of that storytelling with binary code, and kind of then having with something more cohesive, because you have these funk elements all throughout, and there's these jazz elements all completely throughout the album. They tie it together.
Like the funk elements into it. It harkens back to Michael Jackson's, I guess, Off the Wall and Thriller era. Because like the production or like the instrumentals kind of feels like goes back into like during like those types of eras where like neo disco was like coming about, and you know, Michael Jackson was able to bring like those into his own style. So it kind of felt like you know, Oneus kind of did the same thing. Even like even incorporating some of like this electronic mix that kind of reminds me of something Daft Punk would do as well. So I just like I really like the mix up like with those different music genres that come together. So
and I appreciate too, because it's like they also kind of took back away from like, again, like the overproduction of the fourth generation we've seen, especially with some groups, and that again they did on the first full album on Devil, that they kind of, at least they went back from that overproduction, and they really reeled it in this time, and really kind of let that instrumentation really shine through on this, especially again playing with those jazz, those funk elements, and let those instruments shine through, and let their vocals and let their raps shine through, especially like with Keon, he's like really deep.
The Felix level,
because he's really got a really deep voice for rapping. So like his voice is like super distinct for rapping.
I should have like a performance for Felix and him, and then like even like someone from On and Off too has to also have a deep voice.
Wyatt. That'd be Wyatt from On and Off. I don't know why I always like gravitate toward the deep voice rappers. Don't ask. I just do. But this like at least like felt like they kind of were writing the ship a little bit, and they were getting kind of back in the right direction for me, because like I've liked some of Oneus' stuff like from debut, because I've listened to them a little bit on it, like a little bit since debut. I've known them since Valkyrie came out, which is their debut track, and I've kind of been having them, in my radar since then. And so like it's kind of nice just to see them. Like I won't call myself a fan of them, but I kind of know
Admire.
a little bit about the music, admire their stuff, and like I know their music. So, but it's nice to see them kind of right what the mistake was from the album from Devil, and kind of come back around, and hopefully RBW can help them kind of figure out going further where to go, because I think like they have something. There's something here with them. Like they have really good talents with this group, and just like they have a really cool thing for storytelling with this group too. So and like again, like especially throughout the album. So like if they kind of keep up with something like that, it'd be really cool, because again, I think that whole tying it together again, the whole jazz notes throughout, as well as the whole kind of digital binary, opposites kind of attracting or unattracting ideas, like, really cool.
Bit of like a yin yang relationship.
So like there's at least steps forward in the right direction here. So I will give them kudos to that for Oneus. So they at least righted the ship a little bit. So, but yeah, that's all I can really say about Oneus. So it was just it felt like it's getting back to being better. So I'm still a little iffy on the Valkyrie rock remix because I like the original. I'm a little iffy on the rock remix because I really do like the original version of Valkyrie, the debut version.
I haven't heard of the original version yet. I only heard like the rock version, which like for first impression kind of reminds me of like second generation, like second generation to early third generation sound, because the rock kind of reminds me of like Lucifer from Shiny.
Okay.
Yeah, kind of has like that really like very timely like feel into it. It's like because I felt like I felt like I heard that from somewhere. Even like I thought about the Jonas Brothers too, like with the kind of like teen alt rock type of sound too. So like
yeah, I can see that. Like I said, I kind of prefer the original version of Valkyrie, but that's just me. Maybe I'm just so used to the original version of Valkyrie.
Okay, so, I'll probably check that out. Yeah, I'll probably check that out, the Valkyrie, and see if like I can compare.
And let me know what you think. Yeah, let me know what you think either way. So
sure.
But let's get into at least now. So that was from last week. These are all last week reviews. So we're gonna get into this week's new music.
Part two.
Part two. To play catch up. But we're gonna get into the first review for this, I guess, this week, which was aespa coming back. And I don't know what SM's doing with aespa, because it was just a single with aespa.
Yeah. Okay. I don't know. Okay. I probably I've seen probably other groups that did this because I think they just like do singles with like this for one group, and I think maybe later on they'll have like a complete like project, and maybe they'll come up with a mini album or album later. But yeah, I think for aespa it's just like singles with them.
Yeah, because we haven't had a full like actual like album with them yet, even though they've officially technically debuted. But they're back with the new track called Next Level, and yeah, about this one.
Okay, I want to hear yours first. I want to hear yours.
You want to hear? Okay.
Yeah.
I am not gonna lie. I'm really kind of sitting here scratching my head at like what SM is trying to do with this group, because I'm very the song itself is like, it just feels very confusing to me, because it feels like they kind of try to rush like 3 or 4 songs into one song and try to mash them all together and kind of try to fit it all together, because there's even one point where it literally breaks down about the 2-minute mark, where it literally is like a song that doesn't even fit into the rest of the song because it doesn't have the same backing at all. And that's my favorite part of the song, because it doesn't fit the same backing track as the rest of the song.
Actually, my favorite like portions of the song was like the R&B like sound. Because I think like the main riff of like the song, like on the next, it feels really like monotone and like feels really static. There's like nothing else that's happening with this.
It's so bland. It's like there's nothing like, but even with their voices, like, it's just so robotic. and there's just nothing to catch you. Like I'm on the next level, and then it's just so plain, and just doesn't, there's no hook or anything to really catch you. Not even like the electronic backing just like even can hook you, like the instrumentation, whether it's the drum loop or the drum beats or anything like that. It's just so bland. And then like I guess they trying to like break it apart so like they have every member showcased with their vocals, and they kind of break it down to like having 4 separate sections of the song so everybody could be showcased, but it's like it doesn't really fit or flow together cohesively for me.
Okay.
In the song. So like I'm just kind of sitting here like I felt like they tried to throw a whole album's worth of music into a song, and then they released it with a lot of success, mind you, because SM Entertainment. But it just didn't work for me. I will say this though, I do like it better than the Black Mama. It still doesn't work for me though.
Yeah, because that's the thing is for me. I think this song, I at least give it credit that they were actually trying to try something else and something different with aespa, because I think with this it feels more, this is like a more of an improvement to Black Mama, because the first song Black Mama doesn't have anything like I guess to contribute for like introducing to like the members, because I know like they were like hyping up Giselle as like being like their main rapper, but she just like did like vocals, like a minimal part in Black Mama, which is like just doing some vocals and that's it. And like they kind of like showcase more on like Ning Ning and Giselle some vocal parts in the first song, and and more of like Karina's like performances, even though like they all did like the same thing. For this one, at least they gave more shine like with like the singing and the rapping, and gave like more stuff to do with Giselle. So I admire them for doing that. It may not work for you, but like I think like when I first heard this song, it really harkens back to like when I first like heard or like being introduced to K-pop. It feels like a callback to like classic second gen like SM girl groups, because like people like even people like call this out, like it feels like really like the beat changes feels very like Girls' Generation, SNSD I Got a Boy, because like I think that's what I started like seeing K-pop as, like, having like these really experimental like weird like change like shifts into like their song. It starts like from like a really slow like beat, and all of a sudden they start like speeding up into like another part, like whoa what's happening here. So I think with like next level, at least it has some identity, because this is a very SM like entertainment thing where they do like a lot of weird experimental like things with their music, trying to like clash with like the two like different music genres together. And goes back not just like with Girls' Generation, but even FX and Red Velvet having like these really weird like unorthodox arrangements into their music. It kind of leaves you like either like on like weird, like having a perplexing feeling, and almost like an eerie arrangement. And even like when they went to like the second portion, like the R&B part, feels very like boa of like the of the entire song, like boa, and even like the Red Velvet's more of like the R&B side into like their music. So it feels like not a culmination, but it feels like a combination of all like their predecessors into one thing. It can be like still a hit and miss like for for different people, but at least like it gave something to do with them aespa. And I just wish like maybe they could like showcase more, if like for more songs, like an album, which they're still not doing with them aespa. So just waiting to see what their next move is.
Yeah, I mean, and I'll go back, because like I do like I Got a Boy. That's actually one of my favorite Girls' Generation songs. Like I really do like that song.
Like a lot of like K-pop call it like the Bohemian Rhapsody of K-pop. Like I can see that, I guess.
I can see that too, because it is crazy how like all the beat changes and stuff. But I love how like kind of like they do play with that beat changes and stuff. It works in the song. I just don't feel like it worked here really well, and I don't know if it's just something with the production side of it, or just with how they arranged it, or just any of it. Like, it just, in my mind, it just feels like it just didn't click. Like,
Okay, I think, yeah.
I don't know. It just didn't click for me. Because, like, I mean, for I Got a Boy, they clicked for me immediately. But here it just didn't. So, and I guess I'm just kind of confused on, like, what they're trying to do with aespa, especially, like, yeah, because, like, they're trying to do this whole AI stuff with them, too. And they're throwing in all, like, this stuff, like, all the buzzwords and stuff they're trying to throw on aespa for this universe in their song.
The cosmos, and, like, the new Evo, like, all the capitalized stuff from, like, the lyrics, that, like, some, like, the terms that they they're doing for, like, their cinematic concept, which, people, just keep in mind, like, people are not gonna, like, get, or, like, being able to catch up, like me not being catch up in those, like, those concepts, and, like, the fictional stories that they would come up with, with me,
Right.
with me, just to keep in mind, like, people would not get, like, oh, what's it, Kwanya, or what's, like, the cosmos stand for. So yeah,
Right.
maybe, like, start, maybe, like, balance out, and, like, say some, like, say something else instead of, like, blowing over, like, their concepts too much, or, like, like, their lore too much into, like, the song.
Yeah, because they're, like, really, like, have, like, putting a lot of their lore into their songs, and it's just kind of, like, rounding everything else out, and it's just, like, it's just a whole mixed message. Like, they're really, you could definitely tell it's definitely very, obviously, a product right now, and it doesn't feel very genuine in my mind, because, like, they're definitely kind of being more used as a product, especially, again, with the AI thing too, which the AI thing I'm still very weird on, especially because, like, I looked at the AI, you look at the, like, especially the comeback photos, like, if you looked at the comeback photos this era when they released them, like, you couldn't tell who was the AI and who was the real one, because they were so photoshopped that it was so eerie.
I have, like, I have the picture and the slideshows already, but
Mhm.
like, there's, like, they put them together. It's like, wow, I almost couldn't tell, like, which is the real one, which is, like, not. But
Mhm.
there's, like, a plus side for not a plus, but I give props, because apparently me and my sister were looking at the promotional photos of,
Mhm.
like, the visual. They finally, so SM finally, like, hired the people, because, like, there was, like, this controversy of them, like, stealing, like, this from this artist, like, from,
Oh,
like, the
yeah.
visual, like, background. So apparently they hired them to, like, do, like, the concept photos for aespa, which is, like, wow, what, they
Huh.
came in full circle. It's like, wow, at least they're giving them credit for where credit's due a long time ago, but yeah, at least they're
Right.
giving that right now. It's like, wow, that's why, like, the promotion looks so, like, really like, visually stunning, like, because the one with, like,
Yeah.
Karina, and the one, like, wow, it feels like
Mhm.
something that you would see in a video game almost.
Yeah, I know. The background is, like, really gorgeous, very lush, and, like,
Yeah, like,
oh,
I
that's
want
because
to
they
put it for
she
my posters. Like, oh, I want to kind of put them in my posters. Like, I love those colors. But yeah, and also another fun fact. I was, like, watching a reaction video of, like, of aespa, and one of
Mhm.
the comments said, that's not, like, their original song, right? It's actually a remake of a previous
Mhm.
song from Aston Wild. Which they, like, this is from a track from freaking Hobbs and Shaw, which
Yeah.
I would say, I think, aespa, at least they gave it, like, something to do with, like, the from, like, the original song, because the original song is only just, like, the I'm on the next level, so
Mhm.
nothing much special from the original. Well, at least aespa did something to make it their own thing. So I was like, okay,
Right.
yeah.
We'll give you that. You at least made something to kind of give it your own, although it, again, feels, again, very
Mix and master, like, hit and miss, yeah, for you.
hit and miss, and it feels very much like a product in my mind, more than, like, actual music. I don't know. It's
Like
just
a genuine, like, music.
genuine
Yeah.
thing. Yeah. I mean, I guess my bias. Everyone here has to be my biases at this point in terms of music, that I really like the ones that like to produce their own stuff. I'm looking at ATs and Stray Kids
Yeah.
and BTS. Excuse me. But yeah, it's just very much. Yeah, I'm still trying to figure out what this whole thing, like, where SM's going with this, especially because considering we know SM's losing money currently, and I
Oh
know
yeah,
they're probably
the
blowing a
non-blue chip.
ton of money into this. So
I am surprised that JYP is still in the blue chip the thing. Yeah, after like losing GOT7, but yeah, we could like talk more
because they
about
have
the blue
Stray
chip.
Kids.
Yeah, I guess, and Itzy
they got
too.
they got Stray Kids, and they got Twice, and they
Itzy,
got
Twice,
now Itzy. So I think they'll
and
be
why
okay.
and but why? Yeah. Oh yeah, YG is not like gone from the blue chip as well. Blackpink couldn't
No.
save them now.
Not even Blackpink can save YG now. It's like the only two blue chip companies are JYP and Hybe. Well, we know why Hybe is blue chip
Well,
though.
of course, but
Hybe.
yeah. Yeah, I'm still perplexed because like I thought Blackpink was like also as big as BTS, but still couldn't save them from YG getting like. But anyways, yeah.
Anyway,
Like,
that's a whole nother conversation for a whole nother day when we actually know what we're talking about business wise. But let's get to our last album review of, and this is actually an album at least for the
a
week.
mini album,
Mini album.
Mini album.
But we're gonna get to Taemin's third mini album and his final mini album before he goes and enlists in the military.
He moves his way to the military.
Yeah, pretty much.
The Michael Jackson of K-pop. So yeah, another Michael Jackson reference.
Oh, we had a lot of Michael Jackson references this week. This is just for sure. His third mini album, Advice, with the title track Advice.
Nice. And
wow, like what a send off. What a send off he left us.
This album got me like looking for like appropriate terms when it comes to music, because we consider this the coda of his album project, because you can really tell like Advice is such a like you can tell like we're nearing the climax of his I guess his career or his his journey as an artist, and it's like it gets really dramatic and really like heightening up the tension of like how he produced the music, or how the music is produced. And it is really effective too.
Yeah, I mean, you come like this whole the music video for Advice is again Taemin, again stunning, like again in the same vein of Criminal or Idea. Again, these very stunning images and the styling, and like again he's just the androgyny he just plays with, and I think this is the best use of androgyny I think he's had ever. And then we know Move is like the king of androgyny, queen of androgyny, but insert non-gender bias term here, but yeah, like this look, like the looks in this music video, like wow, just floored me.
Yeah, you can tell. Like I just saw this news or like glimpsed over, like people were like praising him for using like the female I guess a female sweater of the Supreme Kai, or the Supreme brand. So yeah, it was like apparently the female version, so which he wore. The crop top sweater, like wow, I didn't know that, but when it comes to Taemin, there's no
tell that was a female cut.
Yeah, I couldn't tell that's from like a female like brand or like the female like version of like this. He was like, oh well, I mean Taemin, of course he's gonna kill it.
Right, like I could tell like that was for a girl.
Gender.
Yeah. Fuck gender norms.
Right.
That's basically what we're saying here. Fuck gender norms. But yeah, no, I mean, we know he always comes through with like androgyny, but I mean, even just to talk about the music in this album itself is just like, again, it is a coda to this whole album, finishing up that 2-part album series with Never Gonna Dance Again 1 and 2. This is that final coda, like 5 songs of that whole era. Advice coming through with this beautiful like piano back trap beats,
which is like something I've never. Yeah, again, like another another person that we're going to talk about, never seen this side of them, because I always associate with Taemin with a lot of like either like the retro wave synth pop, like dance pop type of like genre, even yeah, like I think that's like this where feels more natural. It feels like more like associated with him, and never heard of like doing a trap hip hop like type of genre before, and which I guess helped because of like their his latest efforts with Shiny, which Don't Call Me was like their
Right.
take on like having like a more hip hop vibe into them. At least with him he's still able to keep like some of like the elements that makes him Taemin, like like him like or incorporating a piano piece into like the hip hop like percussion beats, and like even like what makes it like stand out from like other like different like trap tracks, it's like how he's able to incorporate like or still retain like his like some of like his like elements or like motifs that makes him like defines him as Taemin. So again, the piano that kind of signifies more of like his him maintaining his grace and elegance into his performance and into his like singing, even his like keeping his nasal breathless vocalizations, which we all know him from, and even like the usage of like the female high pitched background singing, because whenever you hear something Taemin, you can hear like this really like high pitched voice at the background. Yeah, exemplifies his like androgynous like persona into like the music. But yeah, if I were like really like a demanding type of like fan, I thought I could, because I was thinking like maybe for his last project before he goes up into the military, he could have like made like a third studio album and like made something like very dramatic or like had some kind of like thing like organized. But again like I don't know his time managements, and like he probably could like didn't have time to make like a really full scale album, so maybe like a mini album would have sufficed for him. So but again, it's still very effective, and it feels like after we having the two major studio albums from last year with Never Gonna Dance Again, it feels more like an epilogue, maybe like other like new songs that he wanted to show before he goes off. So I do appreciate that from him. And
yeah, I appreciate it because he had everything with Super M last year, as well as Never Gonna Dance Again Part 1 and 2, which we've talked about on the show, and then coming into this year he had everything with Shiny to start this year. So it's with all the hard work he did, to get this final like coda, this epilogue with these 5 songs, just to kind of finish up this era of his solo work before he goes off and enlists. Because technically I think he still has another year he could technically hold off and enlist, but I think he wanted to start and get it done now, considering some of the members of, considering 3 of the members of Shiny have now enlisted and completed their work, and now some members of Super M have enlisted, at least one of them. Enlisted. So it's going to be his turn. So I can understand why he would want to go and get it done and just be done with that, and just then be able to come back and continue on with his career.
Yeah,
I think he's probably going to continue.
Excuse me. Yeah, in his age too, because like he's like in his late 20s, and like I still have faith that even in his 30s he could still continue being like a really like a diverse and very like dynamic performer that we still know. So but I can understand why he wants to like just do it earlier
and get it done with.
And get it done with.
Yeah, but this album is kind of, again, he really plays with that piano throughout the album itself. He really pushes that falsetto, that female falsetto, I think, to new heights in this album. He really, because that even just in Advice itself, like it's amazing how high that falsetto goes.
Yeah, during the chorus lines. Yeah.
Like I'm like jaw on the floor, shocked like how high that falsetto goes. Like I didn't realize like his falsetto could go that high. And
equating it to like the climax, because it's like the highest point of like story. So you gotta do the same thing. Yeah, makes sense. It makes a lot of sense.
It does make a lot of sense. So, and then I just think it also just comes around and finishes so perfectly with the last song on the album, "Sad Kids."
Sad Kid, which is like it's like a reprise of Two Kids, which is like also the final track from his part 1 of Never Gonna Dance Again.
Which is interesting because that was actually the first track he released as a promotional track for Never Gonna Dance Again. He released Two Kids before he released Criminal. So it kind of all comes together full circle in a way.
Yeah.
So
and also like, you know, like with Sad Kid, it feels like it feels very bittersweet. Like he doesn't go out with a bang. He goes up like, you know, like a very like a smooth and also like very personal too. It's like a personal goodbye to his fans before, you know. But it doesn't feel like he's never gonna do this again. But it's more like, you know, a see you later type of feeling. But you know, we're still gonna miss him. It's still like, you know, like we're gonna miss him when he's like not around.
Right. Like it's still gonna hurt. We're gonna miss him for however long he's enlisted. Like it still hurts, but we know he'll be back. It's just again that hurt right now where we know like this is it for right now, and we're gonna have to wait, you know, 18 to 20 to 22 months, you know, however long his military enlistment goes, because whatever Dispatch or whoever releases whatever he's doing in the military, because you know that'll inevitably be revealed because Dispatch.
Yeah.
Because they did it for Baekhyun. So
what does it matter? Like for any like for IELTS, still like they'll be in this. Yeah, it's like it's just it's military service. Like they all got to do it.
Everyone's got to do it. Everyone's got to do it. I mean, they keep talking about BTS having to do theirs, and like they're gonna have to do too. And they keep saying we're gonna go do it. So
yeah, or fans also implementing like, oh, like they should like go together, or are they gonna like you know, wait and then they can all go together? It's like it's their choice. If Jen wants to go first, then you know, let him go first. Like
exactly. So
fuck your feelings. Fuck your feelings.
Again, they're grown men. They can make their own decisions. This is why I have to tell, like, I feel like I tell armies all the time. They're grown men. They can make their own damn decisions.
Yeah. It doesn't matter what you want for them. Like if they all go together, or if they don't. Yeah, it's like it's their thing.
Yeah, it's their thing. So.
Yeah, which I cannot wait until they make their own like emotional, like, you know, final pieces before one of them goes off into the military, or all of them do. So,
Knowing them, it'll be a cast.
Tearjerker era. It's gonna be a tearjerker era. It's like everyone's gonna be crying the whole.
I know. I'm waiting. Well, we're waiting for, you know, Taemin's eventual, you know, leaving for the military, because we know what's gonna happen with the other members of SHINee.
Oh no, I'm not. I'm excited because I want to see a video of them shaving up his hair, like Key being like the biggest perpetrator, because you know he's so sick and tired of the Taemin shit.
Because you know he would be front and center waiting for those clippers. Like, I've been waiting for this forever.
I'm waiting for this moment. The time has come.
Your time has come. Your time has come, child. Shave. So. But no, Taemin's final album, his final mini here is just it's a great, like I said, great epilogue to this whole Never Gonna Dance Again series. So just
it's a swan song for him, or swan song for the moment, temporary.
For the moment, yeah. I mean, swan song for however long he's going to be in the military. So, but with that, we should get into our breaking news. Or I guess not really breaking news anymore of the week, but I don't have a breaking news jingle. I'm not that creative. But you know, like this caught me off guard. This caught, I think, everybody in the K-pop world off guard. Yeah, this was shocking news, like when this came down, and kind of because like it was kind of chaotic in terms of like how it got announced, because it was kind of like half announced and people were like, wait, what's happening? Like, is there a possibility they're still together? And then it came out like, oh no, they're gonna disband. So basically what happened, on May 18th, it came out, Source Music announced that GFriend did not renew their contracts, which with them, which are set to expire on May 22nd. So they chose not to renew their 7-year contracts, and so they would no longer be contracted under Source Music. So I was like, okay, they're not going to be contracted under Source Music. They could go off to another agency, you know, they could pull a GOT7, you know, go to a different agency.
That's what I was thinking, like, are they going to pull a GOT7 and still be together, or are they going to also, like, go in their separate ways?
Right.
So, yeah.
So everyone's kind of freaking out, like, what's happening? Because there was no, like, confirmed, like, confirmation, like, are they broken up? It was just like they did not renew their contracts. And then it came out the next day on the 19th. All 6 of the members of G-Friend actually posted handwritten letters on Weverse, thanking their fans, their fandom buddy, as well, you know, and as well as any other supporters, thanking them for, you know, 6 years of support and, you know, their success and stuff. And so that basically was kind of like the basic confirmation. Nope, this is the end of G-Friend. G-Friend is officially over. And they're all going to go their separate ways.
Yeah, if you compare it like with GOT7, like you can tell like with GOT7, even though like they're you know, going away from JYP, they still like posted pictures of them saying, you know, we're still together, together, which means like, you know, they're still gonna like, you know, come back and like do have their own music. But with G-Friend, with them like signing up with like a handwritten letter, it feels like, yeah, we're gonna be doing our own thing now. So there's no chance of like us like doing a reunion thing, or hopefully maybe down the road. But yeah, but for now it's just like we're gonna it's done.
Yeah,
with G-Friend.
It just kind of felt like very sudden because, again, they had seen a lot of success last year because we saw success with Apple and, you know, even saw success with Mago. Like, because we both like Mago a lot.
And they've been getting wins from that, too.
Yeah, and it's just like, okay, like, there really was, like, and then, like, they really did nothing. And so, like, there was really nothing down the wind about them just like disbanding or about like having any kind of like disagreements with Source, like, because everyone's like making out like trying to like speculate like what happened, like were they not happy at Source, like what was going on, was it something with Hype, because, you know, Source is now technically under the Hype umbrella. There's talks like because Source is supposed to be debut another girl group coming up this year, and so people are like, well, do they not like the fact there's another girl group coming and like something like that? Like there's all this like, you know, rumors and stuff and speculation, but nothing obviously has been confirmed because it's all just rumors and speculation. But I mean, it just feels kind of like it's just sudden because we just had Mago, and then there was really like nothing final, like a final goodbye from G-Friend.
Right. Yeah, I totally understand, because it felt like with Mago, it felt like it's like the beginning of like it's like this is like them reaching their peak, and then I thought like they would have like gone into like, you know, being more well known and producing like more comeback songs, but like with that, with them, like the news of them breaking up, it's like feels really sudden. It's like like this is it. It's like they haven't like planned this in a long time.
Yeah, so it just it just felt very sudden and just very caught everyone off guard, caught their fandom buddy off guard, and just everyone was just really shocked that G-Friend's over. This is the end of G-Friend. So we got 6 years from them.
You're right. Because I for me, it really didn't feel shocked because, you know, like it's not the girl group that I wanted to like go to like immediately, but I kind of felt, you know, felt a bit of shame because I started like getting into their music just last year with Apple, and because I think they're probably known for like the really cute, like really lighthearted type of music, but apparently with Apple, it feels like they're going to like a darker route and to like their concept in music. So that's why I was like really interested in like listening to like the song, and then with Mago, and then like even like their last album, like what. I'm gonna butcher that name. Night. Yeah, I really appreciate like the music that they produced there, and so we talked about this too many episodes ago. So I just felt like this, like the song that I started getting into, and then they just broke up. Like, oh, what the heck?
Yeah. It's like,
wait, don't leave me. I thought we had something more to do, but yeah.
Yeah, so I think that's just kind of what, because like I felt like they were definitely kind of going around a really cool like path in their music, but but I mean, we wish them all the success in their future endeavors, whatever they may be. But this is the end of G-Friend. So
all right, it was good knowing you. Good knowing you like for like the past year. But hopefully that will give them like more time or more opportunity for people to like be interested in listening more to their music and see like what they've missed all this time.
They missed. Yeah. No, I mean, but could have been. Yeah, I know. I mean, it's one of those things. At least it's not one of those things where like, you know, a girl group that kind of went under the radar and then had broke up much like Priston. That's a story for another day. But Priston, who has some great music, never got love, and then everyone loved him after they broke up.
Yeah, it's
That's a whole story.
When a person like passes away, like an artist passes away, then they started like going into like their music more.
Yeah,
so that's kind of thing that came with me. It kind of sucks that it has to be like a kind of like thing for us to be interested because the person dies. But at least they're getting like recognition, or at least people are starting to appreciate more of their songs.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. So
yeah.
But yeah, I don't know how it's transferred from G-Friend breaking up, because it's it's kind of hard because it's so sad. But yeah, I mean, it's sad and it's shocking. It's kind of a shock, but like I said, wishing them all success in their future endeavors, wherever they may be, whatever they might want to go do. So whether it's solo music, acting, whatever they want to do. So
right.
But let's get to our Kingdom update. We are actually starting to wrap up Kingdom because they finally announced the date for the live finale, because the finale is live. No, we're not doing a live stream of the finale because anybody wants to get up early at the butt crack of dawn to watch it. Also, it is a 4-hour live finale of the show.
And also with Mnet, because they always take down anyone sharing their show, give them more promotion, but
I've seen them try to take down crack videos of Kingdom. Yes, I have actually seen that. I literally saw them try to literally take down somebody's channel because they had some really funny crack videos about Kingdom, and they were gonna they were threatening to take down their whole channel because of it. It's again, when I say I'm not as snaky as hell. So, but
not just that being petty about other people using their video or the clips from them, but also what happens behind the scenes, and there's already cases or already stories with Mnet and them manipulating voter counts and all that. So
and there'll probably be stuff coming post. I have a feeling.
No, they should have won. No, it actually didn't.
Are we talking about produce? But no. So, but no, live finale is in 2 weeks. Actually, June 4th. No, we are not live streaming that, but we will be. I'm still debating because they might have to take off of work, because I don't think there's any way I'm going to concentrate during work while that's on. Period, because that's going to go till midnight Korean time, aka 10 a.m. my time. So yeah, there's no way I'm going to concentrate through work, especially at the rate this is going. So so how should I do this? Because it was kind of interesting how they started this round off, because they kind of announced the point totals as is to start the round.
Yeah,
they finally announced everything with finally announced everything with the stream totals and the global vote totals, which this is what I'm not gonna lie, this is what I was worried about. I was dreading this so much because of how ATEEZ was performing in the global votes, because they had performed 5th and 6th, because they never said how many votes they got, they just said the place. So they never had issued how many points they got. So there's some, I've seen people had to do some backwards math on this based upon what happened. But also, apparently, when they aired episode 7 last week, when they first did it, they actually had to recount the streams, because they had to pull out any ad-related video view counts, because those were not supposed to be counted towards the stream totals, because apparently those were previously. So the only stream totals that were supposed to be counted were the pure totals, if you actually click the video, because there were some fandoms out there who were trying to buy ads on YouTube to put in front of YouTube videos to stream the performance so they could get more views. So Mnet actually had to go and recount those views. So basically,
oh, I'm so sorry. I could put
I'm not kidding you. I am not kidding you. This is literally what happened.
That's you. That's you. Because okay. But I think it's really good reason, because Mnet's really shitty behind the scenes.
But some of these fandoms have been insane. Like, I'm not going to name fandoms, but I do know one of the fandoms who had tried to buy votes that way. I'm not going to name fandoms on the show, but I do know one of the fandoms who tried to, and I was just like, wow, y'all are really desperate. So, but anyway, besides having to recount the votes, I will actually issue out the votes. So this is the places that they are as is before the beginning of round 3 with the current point totals. I'm going to go 6th to 1st. And this is also including any bonus points. Because remember, if you remember way back, first round, preliminary round. Remember those like, remember that first episode when they had those introduction performances that they did?
Yeah.
The 60-second. Remember they had the bonus 1,000 points, and remember Stray Kids had that won that bonus 1,000 points.
Really?
That's been added into this too. So
I didn't know about that. I didn't know about.
Yeah, so just to note that too for the points. So with that, here are your current standings in terms of points and just current standings overall. So currently in 6th place with 5,536.593 points is SF9. In 5th place with 5,676.288, I don't know how they get these decimal points, but they do. It's The Boys. So there's only about a 140 point difference between them. In 4th place with 6,127.360 is Icon. In 3rd place with 6,568.134 points is B2B. And then we take a big jump here in 2nd place with 8,000. We take a big jump from 65 to 8,000. 25.6 points is ATEEZ. So your current ruler in Kingdom with 9,066.024 points is Stray Kids.
Ooh.
So if you take out that bonus 1,000 points, Stray Kids and ATEEZ would only be separated by like 40 points.
I know.
That's crazy.
But,
and then the fact,
the overall results, not entirely surprised because with the traction, with like the popularity within like the 6 different groups. Mm-hmm. But I am at least proud and happy, with your boys, still getting to be in the runner up. At least we get, that. If they're like last place, then that'll be like that's bullshit. That'll be bullshit. But yeah.
I will not lie. I will say this. Thankfully, people have done the backwards math. Stray Kids has been running away with the streaming totals and with the vote totals, which we knew because Stays are a gigantic fandom. The rest of the votes have actually been pretty close in terms of like the points and stuff between 2nd and 6th. So like in terms of the 40%, it's actually been very close in terms of like how many points. And because ATEEZ has been doing so well in the judging, I think that's how they separated themselves from the pack so much. Because that's why ATEEZ has a 1,500 point lead over B2B. So, because it's like Stray Kids and ATEEZ are like way ahead of everybody else in the competition.
Yeah.
Which I know there's people looking at it who are like
with their fans, and then like ATEEZ got like the judges and got the
So I mean, although A-Team is trying really hard right now, they're really trying. They're trying hard. We're trying so hard. You try your best, but you can't succeed. Something like that. But I mean, I will say this. I'm actually really happy. Like, I'm super happy that they're in 2nd place and that they're comfortably in 2nd place. Would I love to see ATEEZ win? Oh, hell yes, I would love to see ATEEZ win.
Of course. Because Stray Kids already are too popular enough. That's why I'm like, so wait, why are they in the Kingdom? Why are they? Because I thought like Kingdom was like an opportunity for groups to get themselves known, and at the ATEEZ, it's very.
it's kind of interesting because apparently like Stray Kids is not super well known in Korea, because obviously it's more for like the Korean fandom, but the international, obviously Stray Kids is very popular internationally. ATEEZ kinda ish, I think are starting to get more and more popular, although from what I've seen, they're starting to really get popular in Korea. So, and it's just growing. Especially it's going to be growing within the next couple weekends because they're going to be on Mortal Songs, and then again the drama imitation and just other things, and again being on Kingdom too, like they're growing, their fandom is growing. So yay, big boys. But with that, let's get into the first half of round 3. So again, round 3 is broken into 2 halves. Again, this whole round's called No Limit. And so the first half of this round was broken into the 6 groups are split into 2 teams, 3 groups and 3 groups. And we were going to have head-to-head competitions. So it was going to be vocal versus dance versus rap. So it's going to be like a head-to-head vocal competition, head-to-head rap competition, head-to-head dance competition. And this had no impact to the fans whatsoever. There's no fan vote with this. It just was an in-house 33 judge panel that came in, that had some experts, well, quote unquote experts, because people were very up in arms about some of these experts in there, because some of them were some producers and stuff, and like some older idols, because we had some like older idols, like some members of Super Junior and they're like to check it out as well. But they also had some of like the younger like debut groups like Mirai and Weekly join in to watch these groups too, and also be part of the vote. So when people were like, why are these younger groups voting? It's like, well, they probably know what's going on too, because they've been training and know what kind of stuff goes on. And people were complaining about like, oh, like they'll be more biased to the 4th generation groups because, you know, they're 4th generation idols. But it's like, you know how people like to complain. So that all being set aside, our 2 teams were split up kind of like this, and it was kind of funny because it was ATEEZ got to pick the teams. They took the 2 groups they wanted to work with, because again they had quote unquote one round 2 barely, but this is without the judges. This was without the global and the stream votes. They actually finished 3rd overall, but it was really, really close when it was all said and done. It was super, super close. But at that point, they had quote unquote won. So they got to pick the 2 groups they wanted to work with. And they chose B2B and they chose Stray Kids. So you had ATEEZ, Stray Kids. So you had. Good
decision on their part.
Yeah, which, I mean, let's know at this time they did not know where the other 2 top teams with them in the top 3. So, but they wanted to work with them. And so the other 3 teams became another team as well. And
I think when it comes to like the their decision on like having Stray Kids, because of course like their sound feels really similar to each other, but like a really hard EDM and hip hop under as like their utilization for in their music, and they could have like gone and picked icons so they can complete like the really hard edge, you know, like hip hop type of like group. But it's a really great thing that they picked B2B instead, so they can like balance each other with like the vocalizations too.
Yeah, and I think, and we'll get into why them picking B2B I think was a really good decision as we get into it, because but and so with that said and done, so everybody so they all got to go to this, you know, kind of get together and figure out like who they were going to put in for these competitions, these head-to-head competitions. So again, you had rap, dance, and vocal, and there really was like no set like rules in terms of like I think who you could put in and stuff, which made it very interesting because I will name the one team, so the team ATEEZ, Stray Kids, and B2B, they named themselves Team Mayfly. So I'm going to call them Team Mayfly from now on, just so there's no confusion. In the rest of the episode, and then the team that was Icon, SF9, and the boys, they named themselves It's One. So
It's like confusing because there's one sub that calls them it's one, and
mhm,
also there's like another translation
sub
called them the I9 too.
I know.
So yeah, I was like, okay,
I think
that's
it's
what I
I
put
think
on the
the
slideshows, like the
I think
I9
it's a
it's
play on
one,
words. I think it's a play on words, but I know from the main thing I've seen, it's like
non-Koreans.
it's one. I know because, but I also appreciate what they did for Team Mayfly because Mayflies only live for a day, and this group only technically live for a day. So I appreciate the clever punnery of that too. So, um, but so those were the two teams, and so the first battle we had was the rap battle, and so again, like I said, so if you look at it members wise, Team It's One's going to have a ton of members because you have 11 members of the boys. You have, depending on who's all competing, 8 or 9 members of SF9 at that point.
SF9.
And then you have 6 members of Icon. Whereas currently in the competition, you have, the 7 members of ATs, the 8 members of Stray Kids, or 7 members of Stray Kids, excuse me. And then
seven.
currently 3 members of BTB because Chang Sub was out ill during this part, so that's why he didn't participate. He was actually out during this round, so he was sick, and so he chose not to participate in the filming, so he didn't want to get anyone else sick. And so that with COVID wasn't with COVID. Just warning everybody, it was not COVID.
Yeah, that's good though. That's good. He said people were like kind of worried, like, oh, did they get COVID and all that? Because
no, he didn't get COVID. It was just
was positive. So
it was just considering what we had a COVID situation on set. So, but we have a bit of an interesting size and situation. So it's very interesting to see what teams decided to do. So Team It's One decided to only showcase 3 rappers, and there's a bunch of rappers obviously between all 3 groups. And so they all picked one rapper from each representative group to participate in their performance. So Icon picked Bobby, obviously. The boys picked Sunwoo, and SF9 picked Hui Young actually to participate in the rap battle. So it was very interesting they picked Hui Young because Zuho is like the main rapper of the group. But I guess Hui Young really wanted to like try something different, like really showcase his rap skills because he's like really wanted to try something new. And both Huion, like, and it was shown in the behind the scenes, both Huion and Sungwoo really wanted to explore like their rap creative side a little bit, like more like really creative writing side, because they don't get to do that much with the group.
Yeah, and like, since apparently Sungwoo wanted to like has been doing some writing too with like he wanted so bad to showcase like his lyrics and like his rap skills, but they never apparently they never like give him that much of opportunity because they have like some kind of like really singular or type of this really limited concept that they have. So he wasn't able to show what he's got. But I'm like really glad because Tabby told me about this information. So credits to her.
Yeah.
It's really that's why like I'm really happy to see him at least perform and like show us what you've got. Show what he's got in the rap line performances.
Yeah. And I really do like, obviously you have Bobby who can produce very well. He has also produced a lot of Icon stuff. And obviously we know Bobby has amazing stage charisma. And so they came up with a piece called Full Dash, capital F-U-L-L space, capital D-A, capital S, capital H. Basically stands for fuck that shit. So they were kind of doing a play on words being kind of hidden because we're trying to get around the Korean censors. So because if you hear in the rap in the chorus, like they're kind of saying really quick, it sounds like fuck that shit, fuck that shit, fuck that shit. So
I get it.
Because if you say in Korean it's like full dashy, it kind of sounds like fuck that shit, fuck that shit. So they're kind of playing around with that a little bit, which I like. But yeah, basically, Bobby kind of gave him full reign, like, hey, I'm just here to kind of lead you, like, kind of just like lead you guys. But this, like, he let them like have full control of what they wanted to do, which I really kind of liked. Like, he gave them full control of what they wanted to do because, like I said, someone really wanted to write something and like play with like lyrics and stuff because he hasn't had a chance to do it. And I think he came down with like one of the best raps I've seen him have in a long time. Like his flow and his style and like the poetry of his lyrics were super, super good. During his performance, like he just like had this amazing like swagger and style, especially being, you know, like the youngest of the three of them. It was really cool to see.
Right.
And then Hui Young, I think it took me a while for him because he really like because he wanted to play with autotune. He said he came to Bobby's like, I want to try autotune with this performance. And I think the autotune kind of took it away from me for a little bit because I think he went a little heavy-handed with the autotune. In the performance part of it, because I think it kind of took away from the lyrics a little bit from me, like kind of understanding, comprehending the lyrics a little bit.
Or to appreciate like this music in general, right?
No, that's too. Yeah, it kind of took me away from it because I didn't really start appreciating the song until I got to Sun Moves Rap, which was the second verse of the song, and so it just kind of it took me a little bit, but I did really appreciate it, and it just kind of was like this really cool, like old school, you know, track that they laid down, that Bobby produced, that, you know, and, you know, Bobby could have gone completely all out and, you know, have his full swagger, but he really reeled it in and just kind of let them be and just kind of, you know, really like kind of just like, again, he was a really good leader and just really let them like kind of just be that guiding light and just kind of really kind of fill in the cracks where he needed to be. And like, I commend him for that.
Yeah, also since, you know, Bobby's also like a big, you know, very a well-known member from Icon, people would like, recognize him more, but at least he's able to push that aside and just like have like the other members, like the ones that the people wouldn't know, get to see more of their side, and, you know, also like having the more opportunity for them to get other people to appreciate them in this one performance. So I really admire how he's done that and just like gave them more light to, you know, do their own thing.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was a very solid performance. Full Dash was a really solid track. Like I said, very old school style hip hop in my mind. Like a bit of, I wouldn't say diss track really, but like definitely has some, you know, biting, scathing words to it. Some good flow, some good play on words. Just it's really fun seeing that in another language, especially getting to read some of the translations and stuff. It's fun to see that.
Yeah.
So, and then you get to Team Mayfly, and it's very interesting for them because they decided to, because it's kind of funny because they kind of talked to Team It's One, was like, okay, so who's going to be in for Team Mayfly? And they kind of like, well, it's going to be 4 members. It's going to be Hongjun from ATEEZ because they all knew Hongjun's the only rapper currently because he's currently on hiatus. Like it's going to probably be Peniel from B2B because he's the current, you know, he's one of the main rappers. So they probably thought Minhook was going to be part of the dance line.
Yeah, that's what I thought too. That's what I thought when they did like the promotion, the performance film. It has like Minhook doing the dance, so that's what they were expecting. Like, oh, you know,
Minhook's gonna dance.
It's gonna be Peniel.
And then they're like, and then it's gonna be Han and Changbin for the rap part. So well, part of 3 Racha because they didn't think Changbin was gonna be, or not Bangtan was gonna be part of it because they keep forgetting.
What do you think?
Because I don't think they realize Bangtan's part of 3 Racha.
They're not familiar with the 3 Racha?
Apparently they're not familiar with 3 Racha because we got 5 members in Team Mayfly. We got all 3 Racha, Bangtan, Changbin, and Han, obviously. We got Hongjun, obviously. So we have 4 of the top producers currently in the fourth generation together. And then you had Minhook come and actually participate in the rap line when everybody probably thought he was going to participate in the dance line because he's a very good dancer. But he's also a very good rapper too. He's technically a rapper. So yeah, I mean, we've seen Huta. Like, go listen to Huta World. Huta World is really, really good. I've gone to listen to it. It's amazing.
I bet the other team was like, yeah, because the other team was blah blah blah. It's gonna be like Neil. Like I saw a clip with Tabby a while ago because we were watching the episode, and then when they thought, so like, oh, I think Neil's gonna be the rap team. When they saw Minhyuk Nani? You thought it was Minhyuk all this time, but it was me.
But it was me all along.
It was me, Minhyuk. But yeah.
But yeah, I'm sure that probably is surprising because and I'll get into the performance part because I think I love the way they kind of did how they surprised the other team. So, but yeah, like I said, we have 4 of the top producers, idol producers currently in the 4th generation working together with 3 Racha, who all compose like at least like 80 songs together between pre-debut and Stray Kids. You have Hongjoon, who's like had hands in every single ATEEZ songs, all of ATEEZ music, and like produced almost everything of the ATEEZ with Eden's help. So
yeah,
you have like some like producing like powerhouses here currently in the 4th generation K-pop. And then you have Minho kind of sitting there as like the proud dad of them all, kind of like they're just kind of like watching the 4 of them work because it was so fun watching the 4 of them kind of come together and like bounce these ideas off of one another. And because Hongjoon even admitted like he's so used to working alone because it's just him in his studio kind of doing stuff when he's kind of producing stuff before he bounces things off of Eden. And then with Racha, they're always bouncing ideas off of one another and they're always kind of playing around with different sounds and different reps and whatever with when they're mixing and making music. And I've seen that too in like different live streams that they've done. So for Hongjoon, it was a whole different experience. And so for him, it was just kind of like eye-opening. And then it was just kind of fun to see them just all bouncing these ideas off one another about like how they're going to do the song and like the concept they came up with. And, you know, and Minhook's kind of throwing in some stuff on the side and he came up with some really cool ideas, but he's just kind of standing back like this like proud dad, like among his children, you know, watching his children like come up with this. And but like, and I think they came up with a really cool concept because they use this whole motif of color to just like talk about, you know, I guess I'm trying to like explain this in the best way because like the way they did it, because they are, it's the performance stuff is very, very cool in the terms of like you can tell who is rapping when because you can tell everybody's unique flavor and color and style of rap when they're rapping and when their lyrics come up because everybody has a very unique style. You have Changmin's super aggressive, in your face kind of rap, you know, with it's a very, you know,
very
kind of
scathing. It's almost it was like really sharp and very like aggressive. Yeah, aggressive.
You have Han's really, really fast raps because he's so fast and speedy with his rap. You have Hongjoon kind of plays. He always plays with like hard soft tones when he raps. That laugh will haunt me until the end of time. His little giggle, I swear to God.
Like
Haunt me till the end of time. Stop! No.
The Hongjoon
no. But no, Hongjoon always plays like kind of like the hard and soft sounds when he raps, and has like this always has some like really cool like lyrical choices when he writes. It's in there. Bang Chan coming through with a really awesome English verse, I think. That just kind of has his flavor and style all over it because he's a little bit more lyrical and a little bit more sing-songy when he raps. Unlike Changbin and Han, we're more of like again the more of the aggressive rappers of Stray Kids, part of 3 Racha. And then so you have the 4 of them kind of, you know, set up the song and like break it down, and then you have Minho come through kind of like as the feature towards the end.
Yeah, him and like another member, because I think they're giving B2B like that much respect that they like put him put their members into like the really special solo solo moment for them. Like they even had to come in with like the doors entering. Like it's the same thing when I saw like Mini-Hut's performance, the rap group. It's like, wow, man.
Like he comes in with like, you know, the and then just like, and everyone's just like loses their shit with this giant ass paintbrush. And just everyone loses their shit in the view rooms.
I got it right. Like from B2B, was like getting so high, like shit.
And Quan's reaction king of this whole damn show period. You just need to go watch his reactions.
Yeah.
but yeah, no, he just comes through as this like really awesome feature, and just this really, again, like his Huta persona when he raps, and just like with his like lower register, and just like very much in that Huta style, and it fits so well, and like they fit together so well, but everyone has a unique color to it, again, fitting with this whole color motif that they're playing with in the song, and it's just composed so well, and it just worked, and I loved it.
Same color.
We bleed the same color. It was amazing.
That like really like summed up like their piece and what they're going for. I think that's like one of the most effective lines in the thing.
Oh yeah, no, it was very effective. Yeah, that we bleed the same color, that Minhook says right at the end of his verse, is like this most effective line of the whole damn performance.
I run up and then like start pumping my yeah.
So it's so good, and just like the whole styling and stuff with it was super good. Them all wearing white with all the color around them, just super sharp and looked really good. So but yeah, so with the in-house audience, they sided with Team Mayfly with that performance. It was a 23-10 vote, Team Mayfly with the winners of that. So they won the 5,000 points of the rap competition to Team Mayfly, and there was a lot of kerfuffle on the internet about that, but
yeah,
I'm not gonna get involved in that.
Yeah, I mean, I get, I understand with like a lot of like opposing sides. Yeah,
but I will say this, like, I thought both raps were amazing and beautiful. Like, I would love to have both of them on my Spotify, because like because like rap is such a subjective thing, because like rap is so like, there's so many different colors and so many different styles of rap out there, and not all rap is for everybody, but like I loved both of those performances so much, and I loved both of those songs so much, because they both kind of fit both of my wheelhouses of hip hop and rap that I really liked. So
I
would have loved to have either one of them winning, because they were both so good. So I was really happy either way. I did actually connect
with like Mayfly though, because I think like they really upscaled the production, and that I think that's why they got a lot of the points too.
I think so. Also, I did connect with Mayfly's a little quicker than I did with It's One's performance. Like with Mayfly, I just clicked with that one so much, and I vibed with that one so much quicker than it took with It's One. Like it just it hit me better, and I was really trying to leave my biases out of this, because like a lot of my biases are literally in that performance. So I was really trying to take my bias out of it, but I was like, when it was all said and done, I did like it, the Team Mayfly's performance better than It's One. Now, no knock, both raps are amazing. I really want both on my Spotify. So, but with that, we get into the vocal, we get into the dance performance. We get into dance. I'm getting ahead of myself. We get into the dance. Hoo-wee. And we get to It's One. So this is where I think it gets interesting, because It's One decided to only put 3 dancers through for their performance.
Yeah.
They decided, again, 1 dancer from every group, where I think they could have probably put more in, but this was, again, their decision. They decided for Icon, they put Don Hook, they put DK in. For the boys, they put Ju Young, and then for SF9, they put Taeyong in. So
which Tabby was like drooling all over that guy.
Of course she was.
That a while ago, but yeah. I like even the first time like I saw Taeyong in like the performance film, like who's this guy? Who's this guy?
I mean, Taeyong's a looker. I will say that he is definitely a looker. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I've been keeping an eye on him too, but I mean, it's like, hello, sir. But they did, I think, a really because so this is, again, dance is very subjective. So dance, it could go any which way. They did more of a they had more of an instrumental backing track, and they did this very almost contemporary dance performance, like theater-esque performance. That had some ties to Korean history, because it was with one of the Mad Kings of Korean history. That's the story that they were telling. I cannot remember the king's name now off the top of my head. But is talking because it kind of there's some history throughout the performance where he talks about like he grew up to be he was the king of Korea, but his mother was executed, and after his mother was executed, he went crazy. And so like they were representing his like 3 different personalities, like the him drinking, his anger, and his grief. And so each one of them were playing a different part of his personality during that part.
Okay.
So, and it's a very important part of Korean history. It's a very well-known story of Korean history. So it really obviously resonated with the Korean audience. And it took I think a little bit for the international audience to get to it. But I think it's still it's very beautiful. Like there's some really gorgeous costumes and very gorgeous artistry to it. They've took a very contemporary style of dance to it with some of the lines because I think again, there are only 3 of them dancing, and then they have all the backup dancers and stuff. But I will say this, like there's some moments where they kind of got to shine and stuff, but I just don't think like having 3 of them was a good idea because I feel like they kind of get lost with all the background dancers on occasion. Like I understand like the costumes and stuff, like it kind of like they did have like a costume change like in the middle of the performance, which I'm impressed how they pulled it off. But they kind of get lost, especially with some of the lighting choices too, because some of the lighting was really dark on stage.
Even like the rap group, they kind of like had like more of like a darker lighting into them too, and that's why they kind of like differ with the rap group from Mayfly. So they could have used like the lighting more.
Yeah, because Mayfly had very bright lighting, which I think helped them too. But yeah, because they used a lot of darker lighting, especially because there's at the end of the performance when they're kind of come together and they're breaking the glass, kind of I think symbolizing the end of it. And they kind of like I felt like they used the wrong choice of light at that point because they kind of did this weird like white light. I felt like they should have used something a little more somber, like a blue or a purple, like to kind of symbolize like, the grief or the sadness at the end of the performance.
And the demise, I guess, the demise.
Yeah, the demise at the end. And it's just because it felt like very like just all of a sudden like, oh, it's over. Like there's just no finality to the performance.
Yeah, it feels like he's like him like peacefully going into heaven like with the white light or something like that. Yeah. Like, maybe like could have like done like like died in like a very miserable way because I didn't know about like the context now that you've told me about it, like the history within like the reason of the deaths and what they're doing. I didn't know about like the history, and now I want to like research about that more.
Yeah.
But for me, I think for me, it kind of I got to like appreciate. Now I get to appreciate more of what they're trying to do. I also feel bad at the same time, like they could have like they could have like upped their potential more, like did something else other than just them having like with the 3 members as well. So yeah,
it just was a little it felt like it was lacking a little bit. They had some moments where they kind of like often do some like separate things. Like I'm not gonna lie, that sword catch Taeyang had like in the air. That's hot. Also Taeyang in a skirt, also hot.
And then with like a really frilly like black suit that he wore, and then like with complementing with like the really loose baggy pants.
Yeah. A+ styling.
Yeah, but other than that, I really thought they were just like mixing in like their performance films, because with like with Juyeon having like really classical like theme, and then with Taeyang's like contemporary ballet like dance, and then like with DK's like they're like the period Korean period like theme. I thought that's what they're like trying to do. Like I think that's also like a reason that they kind of like want to incorporate their mix, like mash up like their previous performances into like this one like thing all together, because they were watching their videos too, and they've been skipping like some of their Mayfly but that's what they were going for. But I didn't know anything about like the concept and the history of like what they're trying to do here.
Which I will say this: how can you skip Choi San's dance? Like nobody can skip Choi San.
Good idea. Sorry, good idea. Anyway. Good idea that they skipped Choi San's like dance.
Nobody can skip that man. Anyway, but nobody can skip that man. He's a demon, and I'm gonna get to this later. But
Oh no, let's skip that.
yes, oh, you know it's coming. It's coming. But all in all, like, I think they had moments of they had moments where I think it was coming together, but I just don't think it came together cohesively as they thought. I mean, and you can kind of tell, like, even when they got together first, like, they didn't have like chemistry with one another. It took a little bit, and I don't know if they fully had that chemistry. And again, it's gonna be really hard when you only have 3 dancers, because you really want to make sure you're all kind of forming together and cohesively together, because you have fewer people to showcase off. So, but with that, we get then Team Mayfly, who decided to throw everybody else into this performance outside of the Raptors and the vocalists. So they decided to put all 3 of their main vocalists in the vocal performance. So that's Eunkwon, Jongho, and Sungmin. So we'll get them to them later. So basically, Team Mayfly decided to throw everybody else into the dance performance, including some members who technically aren't considered dancers in their group. So for ATs, you have Sungwa, Yoonho, Yosan-san, Woo Young. For B2B, you have Peniel as your dancer.
I know.
Which, again, shocking. I know, shocking, guys. Peniel is your dancer, but we're gonna get to Peniel too. And then for Stray Kids, you have Lino, Felix, and Ian, who Ian technically isn't considered a dancer. He's part of Vocal Rata, not Dance Rata.
Yeah. Which, yeah, like, they could, like I said, like, they could have, like, had him be added to, like, the vocal line, because they only had 3. But it's still a good idea that they they still like shifted around and just not like go out of, like, from their main positions into, like, doing something different, and people were, like, saying, like, comments, like, that could have been Hyunjin, and the dance line, like, the teary eyes, like.
Yeah, you add Hyunjin in there, and then you've been like, and then also going back to Team Mayfly, if you had Minky in there, oh god, whew, that would have been something.
Like they need Hyunjin, because, like, the performance as a whole, it's like they don't really need him, and if Hyunjin was there, they would have been like a shoe-in of, like, who's gonna win, and that thing is
yeah, but I mean,
we're done.
Oh, but I mean, let's put it this way. This is half the reason why, like, this week was like, what's time? What is happening? Because, oh my god, this performance of Wolf was everything in the world and more.
Wolf is, like, originally came from EXO, which is during, like, their early days when they they debut, and with, like, some of, like, the early 3rd gen groups in K-pop. Like, some of the music, like the music there is super campy. Like you can tell it, like, it's, like, really at this time of, like, this really emo looking, like, this really, like, dark, heavy makeup, that era, and
iffy hair too.
And then I'm glad the 4th gen, featuring Peniel, showed them how it's done. Like, they really, like, who are you? We're you, but stronger.
Pretty much. Like, I mean, okay, one, they literally went in here and they remixed Wolf with N-Words in Paradise in Paris, which
when my sister, when Tabby and I were watching, because we had the subs on, and they had, like, that, like,
the blurb,
like, I was like, what did you put in there, like, the full term, and they couldn't, like, at least put, like, asterisks in the rest of the letters.
Oh no.
I was like, oh, I was like, paused it. They couldn't even get to, like, the first, like, the first like, introduction of Wolf. We were just, like, laughing, like, they did, like, Mnet,
like Mnet did?
Yeah, Mnet, or I don't know, like, it's probably the fan subs, but, like, we just saw, like, but other than that, like, since I know about the song with Kanye West and Jay-Z, like, I didn't really catch on. Like, I didn't know that they sampled the song from, from
it's
Kanye.
tiny bits of it, but like a lot of it is still like I think EXO's Wolf.
Yeah, of course.
Throughout, but the thing is like they didn't have to re-record it, but they did with everybody's vocals in there because you can hear everybody's vocals because they're just basically lip syncing because nobody's got mic packs on them or anything because it's just a dance performance.
Lip sync, but they still recorded them singing or rapping the Wolf.
Exactly, which again they didn't have to do that, but they did, and you can also kind of hear Hongjoon like also kind of doing some like assisting on the vocals too, because I swear to God he's doing the
Wow, can we do that? Isn't that cheating?
Because it was Eden who helped with the mixing of this one, or the rearrangement and the mixing. Because if you look at the credits, it's Eden, and Hongjoon's technically part of Eden now. So I could kind of hear some. I'm like, I was like the first time through, I'm like, is that Hongjoon? Why is Hongjoon performing the song? So yeah, there's a, like you kind of hear Hongjoon's like because you can kind of hear Hongjoon's kind of like a little bit nasally, like higher range, in the silent hail.
Like Hongjoon like kind of spoiled it when they're like watching it. Like I had a hand in like during this doing things music, but yeah, the good thing he didn't say anything. Like probably like really appreciated the dance performance of Mayfly, which they really knocked it out the park. Even Hongjoon said, "Yeah, we won. We won this."
I know. I mean, like the fact of the matter is, like you have 9 people on stage performing this song from 3 different groups, and they all came together and created something like almost akin to like a year-end performance. Like they came together and looked like almost like a group that's been together for a long time, having this really cohesive performance. Together
a super group with Mayfly.
Oh, I would totally kill for another Mayfly performance. Are you kidding me? I would. I would kill
something like that.
would kill for this. Like because they kind of broke it down. Like they had very separate. So like they had the 3 members from Stray Kids and they had the 5 members from ATEEZ and then Peniel, and then they all kind of came together and started kind of intermixing with one another. Throughout the song, so everybody got a moment to showcase themselves in the performance, which is so fantastic.
Talk about moments. We could list down like some of the stuff that we remember most. Yeah, I could name like a couple, but
there's a whole laundry list of things I can like. I can off the top of my head. Well, the demon himself, Choi-san, period. With his fucking tongue.
I refuse to put anything from that moment. I'm just gonna have like a thumbnail image of like this of all the performances of like the Mayfly and like I9 or it's one. Yeah.
We're just gonna talk about Choi-sang and his tongue. Oh my god. No, like
he's like the Barty Crouch Jr. of K-pop. Barty Crouch Jr. from Harry Potter because he's like flicking his tongue. That's him. That's him. Like I know someone did it originally, but like Sean, oh my god, he exaggerated that gimmick for so long now.
Someone has taught him well. So there's a moment. So what have I done? So I pretty much. Someone's like, "What the hell have I done now?" Because someone has been making fun of him for having his eyes shut for so long, and this is what he gets. So, Songwell, what did you do? But no, like I love. He made a monster. No, I mean, also like the piece de resistance of the whole piece is the whole Felix running across the table and jumping onto Woo Young.
Which, oh my god, the whole time and during the performance, he was like cheering him on. He was like, Felix, he was like his head was like craned down, and he was just like looking like a worried dad that he is. Like, what, Felix? Are you sure about this, Felix?
I love that I've seen this edit where apparently like Bang Chan is like the stern dad. And Kwon and Minhook are the cool uncles, and then Hongjoon's is the slightly concerned mom, but she's like, I'll be fine. Because he watches it too. He's like, yeah, because he jumped off the because I can't imagine they practiced that so long because they showed them practicing that because
the jump jumping on Woo Young at the other side,
because the amount of trust they had to have, because basically Wooyoung's being supported by a bunch of backup dancers and kind of being held up in the air while Felix runs across this table and jumps on him and looks like he's like ripping out his heart. And it's an amazing kind of piece at the end of the performance as everyone else is dancing in the front and before they finish up the performance. And yeah, it's just like the amount of trust they had to have to pull that off is wow. Just yeah, there's so many things. Like we even talk about Peniel, like Peniel coming through, who's a rapper in B2B, who's coming through and standing his own. He's 5 years older than like the next oldest person in this group, who is Sungwoo, I believe. And like holding his own to these kids. I'm sorry, I'm calling them children because he's to his mind they're children.
Yeah,
But
he's like a literal Marge Simpson. I'll crump with you, sweetie pie. That
no, because there's a moment in the behind the scenes where like they're sitting there eating ice cream and like they're talking about the song.
Yeah.
And Wooyoung's like, I remember this came out in middle school, and Peniel's like, middle school?
Wow. I know. Like, he was like, wow, I feel old. Like that Matt Damon gif of like him from young and then like merging into like his old self. That feels like Peniel right now.
It was Peniel the whole time.
Oh my god.
But he held his own. Like I was so impressed with how he held his own with these kids. Like he did so well.
Absolutely, yeah. Like he said, he even like noted, during the behind the scenes, like it's been like 2 years since I've last like did like really hard like dance, crumping. And then they showed like him showed his past, like he did like a lot of dancing before it became like more like ballad centric group, and I'm really glad he's able to like pull that off too. Even Huta and like Kwang were like cheering him on like
they were being such supportive older brothers. Like it was so fun to see those two just being like very supportive of him in the performance and the reaction videos. Like they're such supportive older brothers to him, and it's such an amazing, like please go check out the performance for Wolf. It's amazing. Oh my god!
I want to see like when he goes to Dive Studios. I want to see like some of his co-hosts like say, "Oh
my god!"
God damn.
I want to know how Ashley and Matthew reacted to that. I really do. I really do. Yeah. Oh my god!
I want to see like in this B Live or whatever, because I know he's doing his solo work, but I want to see BI's reaction or a BM reaction to Peniel. Yeah. I know he's part of this big kitty gang, but like, he's gonna point like Peniel from now on.
Yeah,
part of the gang now.
Also, shout out to whoever decided to dig out and find Hobie's mask from BTS's debut in 2013 and give it to Peniel. Shout out to that.
Like the mask thing. Also. Shout out to Peniel channeling Hyuna, since he also like the dog leash move that came from Hyuna's old video, which was featuring another member from B2B. So
there you go.
That was amazing. Him holding the leash on the other wolves, and then started doing his performance. Yeah, that was crazy.
Yeah, no, but when it was all said and done, Mayfly took this one to a 22-11 vote with the audience. Mayfly won the dance competition. I mean, in my mind, this was insane. So I just, wow. Like I kind of knew this one was kind of Mayfly's in my mind, because I just, wow. It was just so insane. So, but then we get to the final battle, which was the vocal battle. So it was the vocal teams deciding to perform. And so Team It's One decided to go with 6 members instead of 3, like they did the other 2. So they decided to put 2 members for each group in. They decided to put in Jinwon and Junho from iKON, Insong and Jaeyoon from SF9, and then Sangyeong and New from the boys into their performance. And they decided to do the cover Spark from Taeyong, formerly of Girls' Generation. Spark is, I think, one of her most beautiful solo songs. Honestly, it's a really gorgeous song. Highly recommend you should go listen to the original song. It's super, super beautiful and emotional and powerful. And yeah, they decided to go cover this one, and they decided to kind of go more of like a live concert feel with it.
Oh yeah.
With the performance, kind of have a little bit more of like a raw grittiness to it, which you can kind of see or kind of not see, but you can kind of hear in the performance. I guess you can say you could barely see anything on that stage because whoever decided to light that stage in this harsh red light should be like fired immediately from lighting director because it was so bad. Like you could barely see anybody on stage. Like it was hard to make out who was who. Because the harsh red lighting just was like kind of drowning everybody out. And I get why they were trying to do it because again, spark, fire, red, because there's some fire on stage too. But
yeah,
it just
fire on stage and it lights up like from time to time. Like okay, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, but the red light just really didn't help much at all with any of the like visual part of it for me. But I think they really had achieved some like really good harmonies in terms of like kind of like this like live performance as thing. I don't know if them going into like a live performance style, like a like more gritty live performance was a good idea though, because it kind of feels a little unpolished in a way when they were performing it, because it just didn't quite click all the way. But it didn't click. It just didn't feel like it was quite all the way there. I mean, I kind of like, I appreciate them like trying to do something more of like a live concert so style, like kind of standing up against the backing vocals. So
yeah, I get it. I think I appreciate like what they do is having like a more raw feel into like into the performance. But I think with this, they could have like had like a more crisp quality in terms of like like visual productions and even like the them with their vocalizations, because like some of like them it's like really like raspy, like some of like the members' voices like sometimes really raspy, and like one of them couldn't really hit the high notes that much because of like how the vocal cords is like really pulling him back. And like if you can compare with the next group and just like how contrasting with like the crispness of the quality of like their vocal vocal tones, you can really tell like I think they kind of got stumped from like their performance.
Yeah,
so, I could have like given them like 30 points with this, but like when you're comparing them into like the other opposing group, it's like, oh man, if I were like if I were like super biased, I would have gone like with like the other thing.
Yeah,
with the other
because. And I will say this before we get into Mayfly's performance. I kind of do feel really bad for Insung because he had the last like note of the performance, like this really kind of high booty, and I can't do it because I can't sing for shit. But his voice cracked just at the wrong time, and it cracked so bad that he missed it, and you just see in everybody's face go like, "Oh shit!" And I felt so bad because like. You hate for that to happen during a performance, especially a live, quote unquote live performance. Obviously, it's tape, but in a situation like that, it's just like you can just kind of see everyone just go like, oh no, like in terms of like the people on stage, in terms of the people watching, like everybody kind of just like, oh no, like it was unfortunately at the wrong time, and it just how bad it cracked. So, and I feel really bad for Insung. I mean, I think they did okay. It just, compared to the other team, compared to Mayfly, this really was no competition, unfortunately, for vocals.
Yeah.
Because Team Mayfly, again, we said was Nkwana B2B, Sungmin of Stray Kids, and Jongho of ATEEZ, and coming in and singing a cover of Love Poem from IU. And like you're talking about some really strong vocalists. You're talking Nkwan, who's got some very strong vocals. You're talking about Jongho, who's got amazing strong vocals.
Yeah, and even like Nkwan's emotive like appearance too. In when it comes to singing, it really adds into like the intimacy and like the emotion side of the whole thing. It really adds like more into like into the whole performance. So that's what I really think like they really knocked it out the park. With that.
Yeah, I mean, because there's a point where you could think, because we've seen, and I don't know why people criticize this with Jongho with like his vocals about him going like way too above and beyond with his high notes, like.
With high notes, and also like also I would say like he emits from the throat rather than, because I used to do singing rather than being like from the
the
stomach.
chest.
I know like sometimes he can do a high note, but it can come from the throat, which can be like more harming. It can really harm the throat if you like emit it from there. But, okay, I get that. But with this one, that I think that I would probably like change my opinion with Jung Ho, and I think he really is trained, with like the vocalizations and like his how he sounded like tonally in the performance. It really sounds whole and like really like open,
Yeah.
Like,
he like they really. Everybody complimented off one another, because even Sungmin has some really beautiful, strong vocals that come through and just harmonize super well with both Eunkwon and Jongho, and like nobody's overpowering one another. They're all balancing and they're all able to bounce off one another. Like, it's amazing. You go to the behind the scenes with them, and like Eunkwon literally like broke it down, the line notes of like who got what line, and literally broke down the harmonies super well in terms of like breaking it down and making it super compatible for everybody. Even Jungho had to ask kind of like, okay, so how are we doing this? But like I think they made it work out so well, and it just really, it came together into this beautiful, harmonious, almost angelic performance of love poem. It's so gorgeous and so beautiful. It almost moves you in a way. And it's, I mean,
I'm like soaring. I'm like really like soaring into like the music. I mean, it's really moving, like almost like literally.
Yeah.
Almost transcends your soul. That's how like the feeling that I got from there. And even how they manage like the distributions, I think Encore did a really good job like managing who gets to sing what, and also like I think he's a leader, right, of this lineup.
Yeah, he kind of can be like the de facto leader of this lineup. Yeah,
de facto leader, but you could totally see him like having like the two members like being at an equal level with each other, because he's really like leading them on, and like you can tell by his movements too, like it's so professional and very like almost like a leader, a leadership. It's like a perfect factor of like what a leader should be. Like you can tell like how he's like really helping them. And
and it's crazy too, because Eunkwon's 10 years older than both Sungmin and Jongho.
I didn't know.
Yeah, there's a 10-year age difference between them. Eunkwon's born in 1990. Both Jongho and Sungmin are born in 2000. So there's a 10-year difference in age between them all, or at least between the two youngest and him. And just to have this amount of respect they had for one another, and and to be able to pull this off, like it's just wow. Like across all three of Mayfly's teams, like the chemistry they had with all three Mayfly's teams is insane. Like they all clicked and they all really
the chemistry
together.
Really they stuck with each other. And again like the junior groups respecting the hell out of B2B, because like with the rap performance they had like Min Hyuk with like his really special like rap portion, like him like entering the stage. Same thing with Peniel coming in with his own dance solo with like with such a grand memorable entrance. And even in the vocal performance too, like when they dim the lights for the two members and then they shone more light on Eunkwon, I kind of noticed that, like, wow, more love to B2B in this in all the groups. It's like, wow.
Yeah, like they've really showcased their senior group in a really positive light, and they really gave them so much respect, and the fact that there's the senior members of those groups really actually kind of worked with them so well, and let them kind of work with them, and find a place for them to fit with these again younger groups would have all this chaotic energy and just different, obviously way different vibes than they do, and they fit together so well. Because when it's all said and done, Mayfly swept this one hands down.
I know.
Mayfly won, and Mayfly won the vocal vote 33-0. They took all the votes on the vocal performance. So, and they swept the whole round of competition.
Yeah.
So
that's why I felt equally bad for the It's One team, because they had the potential, but they didn't convey it to their fullest extent. So
yeah, it felt I think they just kind of misstepped in a way in terms of what they could do in terms of the potential. So again, because I feel like they should have had more people in the dance performance, but again, they're also hindsight's 2020, because those 3 members of the dance performance also had to go on COVID quarantine for 14 days because one of the dancers, backup dancers, tested positive for COVID. So the 3 of them had to also quarantine for 14 days. So, blessing and a curse, I guess. But, it feels bad because, again, at that point, nobody knew those were the top 3 teams. I think people were just knew Stray Kids and ATEEZ were the top 2, but I don't think anyone knew BTOB was the 3rd place team. And now they're basically, their leads have now grown because all of them got 5,000 points apiece, because the points were all going to split equally among the 3 groups. So
so the top 3 groups are way farther down, way farther up, from the bottom 3. I bet with Icon, the boys and SM when it's at the ranks, and they're actually the group that we start together ain't this a bitch? No, I don't know, overall, because I know with It's One, they're really, I think they're really satisfied with how they perform too. With Bobby, I think the one with the most chemistry in the other team was Bobby's team.
Yeah.
So I think they really they're really chill with each other, and they trying to help each other get more relaxed. Because I think the previous team, they were kind of awkward with each other at first. So I think that's what's also what's limiting them to reach their full potential.
Yeah.
But I think with Bobby, I think they had more chance. They had more chance.
I think out of the 3 groups, the rap team I think had the most chemistry, and then it was the vocal team, and then it was the dance team. But but when it's all said and done, Mayfly won, and unfortunately, I guess those leads grow, and now basically the gap between 3rd and 4th place is now about 1,000 points, and the gaps between 1st, 2nd, and 2nd and 3rd are the same. So it's pretty, it's kind of staggered now, and it's going to be very interesting to see what's going to happen with this second half of the round, which literally is no limit, which they literally said no limit. You can bring in whoever you want, you can do whatever you want. And we've seen 2 performances already this week, which we're not going to, we've gone long enough.
Icon really brought out the big guns, which is probably a good move for them. So they can streaming wise for the view counts, the other fandom will be able to check it out.
Streaming count wise, and I think maybe global viewing vote wise too, but we'll see, because another group decided to almost rain on their parade today. A little bit, and it's becoming very interesting, but we'll get into that next week.
I know how we're trying to kind of imply or not give out the cameos and all that, but even though Mnet already spoiled it during the previews.
Yeah, Mnet. I know Mnet, but no, but we're gonna get into all that next week, because what do you expect from Mnet? But we're gonna get into that next week, because that's gonna be some interesting discussion. Also, that one stage from today, who I cannot wait to discuss that next week. You know which one I'm talking about. You know which one I'm talking about.
I don't know what you're talking about. Nope.
That's like just to it on our video chat. But we also have obviously, as we're recording here on Thursday, we have butter dropping in literally hours from now. So we're gonna obviously be talking about butter next week.
In the show description, we are going to say we're going to cover BTS next week because butter hasn't dropped yet when we're recording this. Even though it's going to be tonight, we could have had like a live stream performance or live stream show and like wait until it drops and then have our first reactions. But other than that, to be continued, guys. I already have like something with BTS right in our slideshows.
So yeah, to be continued on butter. We're gonna have our thoughts and feelings on butter next week. Again, as well as these.
Oh god.
Also maybe our thoughts and feelings on the McDonald's meal next week too. I don't know. Stay tuned. That drops next week Wednesday.
If I see like available BTS meals in my McDonald's close to my area, that would have been a great content for us to do some like tasting of like the BTS the mukbang episode of Noonas podcast.
We were doing our own mukbang with the BTS meal.
ASMR and the nuggets crunching
Yeah, we just some ASMR. Oh yeah, we do a best bars ASMR with that. I cannot pull off a song with that. No. I am.
Oh, that would be awesome. It gives me a good excuse to eat during the recording.
So yeah, not like you do already in the first place. But no, I'm kidding. But, but we should probably wrap it up because we've gone long enough, and like I said, butter drops in a few hours. But let's wrap it up and get ourselves on out of here, shall we?
Of course. All right. I'm hungry anyway. Okay, no, sorry.
I am too. Shush, I am hungry too.
Yeah.
Not just for butter.
No. What the heck? We're gonna be just eating raw butter, waiting for butter. Ew.
No. Ew. No.
Okay. Sorry. I'm gonna plug in 10 from this one meme video of him thinking he was eating ice cream, but he actually ate butter instead.
Oh, I know. I know which video you're talking about. Yes, I know which one you're talking about now.
It's butter. And the full of BTS and butter. Oh no! Don't make me have ideas.
That wasn't me. That was totally you. It was totally you. Don't look at me.
That's my own devious ideas of what I'm going to be pulling.
This is what I have to deal with, you guys. So plug yourself.
I see. Okay.
Plug yourself.
Plug myself? That sounds kind of wrong.
Hey.
Oh, okay. Plugging myself. Plugging myself. You can find me on Facebook at Ginny Liano. So that's GINNYLEANO. Or you can find me on my design page on Facebook, which is at Ginny Liano Designs. You can also visit my Instagram design page, which is at Ginny Designs. And all of my other personal pages will be linked or will be shown within the stuff that I gave out. Okay, and back to you, Jenny.
This is what happens when we don't record for a week. We just completely go off the rails.
I know. We're rusty to this.
We are rusty as hell. Wow.
Love for you to edit there, Jenny.
Dear God. Anyway, you can find me over on Facebook, facebook.com/Jenny Matasek. That's Jenny with an I, Matasek. You can also find me over on Instagram and on Twitter at Chaos Bulldog. You can also find the show pages for the Noonas podcast over on Instagram and on Twitter at Noonas_podcast. Don't forget the underscore. You can also check out our Spotify playlist and our SoundCloud links for our show under those handles. Make sure to click those bios. And you can check out the video form of the show over on Facebook with the Metropolis Collective. Thanks again, guys, for hosting our show each and every week over there at the Metropolis. Please check out some other shows over on the channel as well. They got a whole selection of different kinds of shows. They have a new music show, very hip-hop, more driven show on their channel now called The Playlist. I highly recommend you guys check it out. It's really, really good. Yeah, and this is, like I said, this has been an episode. This has been an episode. This has been a episode. I don't know. This is
or a two-parter, a 2-in-1 episode.
This has been a 2-in-1 part episode. Yeah, this is what happens when I don't record for a week and I have a lot to talk. We have a lot to talk about. So, what's gonna happen if we have to go to when we take a break and we like?
Oh God.
So, because we're thinking about possibly having to take a break here soon, especially after Kingdom's over, because especially with the things get crazy with Kingdom coming up here at
Yeah,
the end.
but we're still gonna be we're still gonna be active on our social media, just
Oh,
so
yeah.
you won't forget about us. Don't
Yeah.
you forget about us.
us.
Don't,
Yes, with
don't.
the fist and everything. Oh my God, this is tying into. I'm not spoiling. I'm not spoiling shit for next week. But yeah, I'm not gonna spoil shit for next week. But I want to, but I'm
Okay.
not. I'm not trying to spoil anything.
Control ourselves. Control ourselves enough.
We are professional, I think.
Yeah.
Sure,
Same.
we're gonna go with that, I think. Okay. But anyway, like I said, this has been the Noonas podcast. Yeah, next week we're talking about butter. We're talking about BTS, we're talking about butter. We're talking No Limit Kingdom, and God knows what else is coming down the pipeline.
But
We have
in the K-pop blockbuster season.
pray for us.
Pray for me.
Fighting.
Exhausted fighting.
Very exhausted fighting.